And the truth of the matter is, people who are actually, by definition, fine will find a better word than fine to describe themselves. Hi, I'm Kate, and welcome to Always Tuck and Roll. We discuss life, the universe, and everything through the lens of autism. Because autistic. And I am more of a hot mess than usual today. I will be perfectly honest. I only mostly kind of know the things in here haven't quite fully formed into what I want to have come out, but here's my issue. Today is Thursday. As in the Thursday, like this video that I'm trying to make right now, I would presumably like to have it posted like this evening. And I've been trying to make this video all week. What's been stopping me? Nothing but my own brain, thank you. Realistically, that's what it is every day. Like, it it's not like the whole month of July where like I would just pull out everything and then just like stutter and stop. It's I've been trying to get back into the groove of things and it's not working. So, story time. A week and a half ago, Pete had a business trip. He was gone from the middle of the afternoon on a Monday until the end of the evening news on a Tuesday. And that's good. Good with being alone. But the thing was, the schedule, like the rhythm of our lives, obviously completely disrupted when either of us change anything. So, like, and if he suddenly decides that, like, he's going to work from home instead of going to the office, I already have to, like, shift my brain and, like, I'm good with it, but I have to refocus and spend time resituating my mental expectations for the day. So having him gone, even though it was a planned routine deviation, that was already just like okay, we got this, and it was good. I enjoyed my time, watched movies that Pete wouldn't want to watch, or um, he'd want to watch the first one before he watched the second, which is totally fair. Like, yeah. Anyway, so that was all good. He came back. And then, it's not like we immediately jumped right back into our schedule because he was tired and coming back from a business trip. So Wednesday, I assumed would be a late morning, late go in, and it was. So it's good. But then Thursday, went to work on time, came home early sick. Don't begrudge that, obviously, because when we're sick, we should not be at work, we should be at home. And that makes I'm a colossal hypocrite for saying that out loud, but at my last job, once I did start trying to take time off when I was sick, I'd get in trouble for it. They can't have it both ways. You yell at me for being in the office sick, or you yell at me for not being at work because I'm sick. You can't have it both ways. But that's neither here nor there. That's not what this is about. This is about Pete. His dad also came home sick that day, too. They were on the same business trip. So, you can see where this could be heading. Friday, just stayed home in general. Abundance of caution, worked from home. Still had to, like, pivot my brain to being like, yes. Now, here's something else that's been going on all of this. I have not been sleeping. Like, we're talking 2 to 3 to maybe 4 on a good night hours of sleep. So I'm already like, that does not help with balancing your emotions or expectations, especially when people keep deviating from the pattern. And also, throughout all of this, we were getting ready for an event this weekend. We have had a celebration of life this past Sunday for my grandmother. So, that's something else you have to prepare for. So while we're dealing with schedule deviations and sickness suddenly, we're also getting ready for an emotionally charged event with lots of people we don't see very often. And I love my family. The celebration of life was great, but when you only see your family, maybe once a year, maybe a few times more, or it's been a few years since you've seen everyone, it gets super fun to know you're going to have to mentally prepare yourself to be in this room with all these awesome people who are going to be like, how's it going? How's work? What are you doing? And like, while I am extremely comfortable with the choices that I have made and the life I am currently living, it is very hard to like explain it to people all the time. And also, like, my diagnosis is still pretty new. It'll be 2 years next month, or in like 2 weeks, something like that. So there's a whole host of people that were there yesterday yesterday, it's 4 days ago. It's Thursday now. But so that, I haven't seen, spoken to, or potentially don't even know, but I'm also not going to just like walk around and be like, hey, guess what? I did obviously mention it to some relatives, but, I think I joked that I was like, oh yeah, no, they were doing this at work, so I took my autism and left. Um, which, is literally what happened, so we're good. Um, but yeah, it's because you don't know what to expect at an event, even though you're pretty sure everything's gonna be fine. You, it's the uncertainty. So, dealing with schedule deviations, sicknesses, and uncertainty, and just the prospect of socializing, it's a lot. So, everything went fine. Pete's feeling better. It was, unfortunately, um, I don't know if we still, if it was COVID. Unfortunately, that Pete and his dad had, and a few other people from that meeting. I have been miraculously fine, but then I did have to text, my mom and my brother yesterday, being like, because or Tuesday? We found out on Tuesday that what the disease actually was, so that I had to text the people that we were with most, which everyone seems to be fine so far, so good, but I feel like I don't really have any good reason for it being Thursday and this only being this state of done, which is none whatsoever. But I have been trying. Trying looks like puttering around until I'm like, I should do that. And then maybe I sit down and then I lose a few hours suddenly. And then I'll be like, oh, I have to have some lunch. Remembering food is huge because I am not good at that. And then suddenly I am just so tired I have to lay down on Monday. Yeah, Monday my body basically just like shut down for 4 hours. I was basically like, I was sitting on the couch and then I was lying on the couch and I couldn't pay attention to anything. There's a few things that I watched on Monday that I think I have to watch again because I don't know that I fully absorbed the information. And yeah. Um so I'm pulling myself back together today. Better late than never, right? Um cuz like I have baking projects I need to accomplish today. I say need, but it's a want, but it's, I'm going to call it a need because if I say it's a need, I might actually do the thing. I need to make muffins and I need to make brownies. Because I had my last breakfast muffin this morning and I need more muffins for tomorrow, and we're out of cookies, so brownies. And I have a really good brownie recipe that I've been tweaking. So, and maybe that'll end up being a video at some point in time too. I don't know. Probably not today because this is gonna, if this gets finished today, we're doing amazing. It's really frustrating to have this go on though every single time I have to do anything because just life's disruption should not be this disruptive. And part of me is like, if I did this more, maybe it would be easier. But would it? Because I've lived in the life. I've held down full-time jobs and had stuff on the weekends. There was a portion of my life where I worked 7 days a week between 3 different jobs. And was in a long-distance relationship for part of that too. So 2017 was like a really unhinged year for me. 2018 too. It's and I could do it. But I was so tired all the time. And I mean at that point in time obviously I was under the assumption I was autistic, but I didn't actually understand what that would even mean for myself realistically. Did not really know about the ADHD. I mean, I did, but I didn't because knowledge is power and having better understandings of definitions is huge. Um, but like, I was so tired, and the few weekends I could get off, like, I'd wake up really early the first morning, and then I'd be like dead to the world the next day, and then I would just start work all over again. And that felt really robotic after a while. Like, even though the jobs were wildly different, I was a high ropes adventure guide, I was a um, secretary, and I was a social media manager at the same time, and it just lots of different little. There was always so much going on, and like I can thrive on that, but it's also like chaos and oh, when the season would end, either the high ropes adventure guiding season or the ski instruction season was over, I would just crash. Just and I guess now I am out of practice, but the other thing that I have to remind myself when I'm like really frustrated that I've accomplished nothing this week is that I'm okay, there's a few things I need to focus on. I'm older than I used to be. um I was I was so tired then and I was so emotionally caged off in a way that I'm not now. I was masking at a very, very consistent high level. I could never be the let anything down or go or just how do I even phrase this? It's like now that I've been in therapy for like 3 or 4 years, I am different. But it's mostly because that emotional mask or just the masking in general that, 38 years of undiagnosed autism builds on a person. Um, that's come down. And so I am approaching situations differently and I'm letting myself feel the chaos and the stress in a way that acknowledges what it is and not just like under the bridge of I'm fine. And I've explained my thoughts on the word fine, but what I was thinking actually just last night was that while the definition of fine is, pretty baseline and I do use it in that way, but the vast majority of people when they say fine, we know they don't mean fine. And the truth of the matter is, people who are actually, by definition, fine will find a better word than fine to describe themselves. If fine's the best you got, then you're not okay. At least that's the way it seems. Unless you're literal like me, and then I'm like, I am actually fine. Could be better, could be worse, but it's fine. Like, I do mean that, and I don't mean that in like in a judgy way, but what I have noticed is that the people who use fine are not fine, and the people who are actually fine will find a better word. I don't know if that's true across the board, but that's what I'm noticing, especially after being so hyper socialized for like 3 hours on Sunday. Um yeah. So how I'm trying to pull myself out is of all of this is basically just we're gonna sit and buckle down today. We're gonna do this, and then we'll probably bake brownies first because that's like more important than the muffins, I suppose, and then we'll make muffins. Probably have to wash the muffin tin because mice keep getting into the bottom drawer of my oven, and I don't like that. It's a tangent. We're not gonna do that. Um, I'm hoping that just getting my act together and doing the few things that I want to get done today helps get me back on track. Because, I mean, while I am okay with, like, letting myself feel and take the time that my system needs to reboot after, an overload shutdown like I had on Monday, because it's basically, it was like my CPU overheated and it was just like, down, done. Didn't nap though, would have loved to have napped. I maybe got like a little bit, but I can count on one hand the amount of times I've napped successfully in my entire life, that, because I stopped napping when I was 18 months old, so that's maybe why I'm not 5 feet tall. Um, Story for a different day. That's really the whole story, it doesn't matter. Um, yeah, so while it's good to give myself the time, I I'm going to try to give myself less time today to so I can just do the few things that I want to get done. And then I can just have afternoon. I still have to remember to cook dinner too. All right, that's a later today problem. I have to get through the baking projects first before we can get on to a cooking project. I like baking more than cooking, even though cooking is more forgiving than baking. Um, Now we're just starting to ramble. Who knew? Okay, so dysregulation, working on fighting our way out of the chaos of this. This doesn't look like chaos, but that's the fun part about like the chaotic mind ADHD. It's just there's lots of bells, whistles, and you've no idea how many songs are stuck in my head right now. They're not even of the same genre, so that's fun. No matching tempos. It's just noise. Um, so I hope that your brain is a little bit more organized than mine. I am still trying to close down some of the mental tabs that are playing music loudly in here, and letting things just chill. Pete has a 3-day weekend coming up, so we're hoping for like a hard reset. That's my goal. We're just gonna take a knee and just chill. No adventures, no more illnesses, please. And I would love some sleep. That is my primary goal for this weekend, is some sleep. And we'll see you on the other side, I guess, of this. Hopefully I can get my groove back or whatever. Um, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you are in the United States, I hope you have a happy Labor Day weekend. If you are in a different country that celebrates this upcoming Monday, September holiday, happy holiday. If not, have a good weekend. Have a good day. Well, brain went completely blank, so we're just gonna end this on a good old... We're just gonna tuck and roll. Because seriously, what else we got today? That's about it. And part of me is like, if I did this more, maybe it would be easier. But would it?